Yes. Hey Tom, I'm sorry I missed that. I need the date for December so I can try to make that one. We'll move. Good morning, everyone. Appreciate you all being here. I'm sure all of you have now had a chance to peruse the scintillating prose of our report. I'm here basically on an availability basis to answer what questions you have, but it would probably be worthwhile walking through a few high points to get us started. First of all, this is the audit of 2012, fiscal year 2012, that we are issuing today. I mention this because some of the JobsOhio responses reflect matters that occurred subsequent to the audit period in question. I certainly appreciate the fact that they are identifying issues and believe that they need to make improvements. I should note that we did not test any of their subsequent remediation. So to the extent that in 2013 they may have taken steps to address some of the matters addressed in our report, we would not have examined those things or offered an opinion on the adequacy. I also should point out that this is a compliance and control audit. This is not a financial audit. The financial audit for this period had previously been conducted by KPMG. One of the technical difficulties is that original audit had been of financial statements that were produced under FASB, which is a private not-for-profit accounting standard. The proper accounting standard, which the legislature codified in May, is actually GASB, the Governmental Accounting Standards Board. And because the original financial statements were not conducted, they weren't reported under GASB, it really wasn't, we weren't able to do that even if we had wanted to. In any event, the KPMG audit seems to be sufficient, and the 2013 audit has restated the 2012 numbers under GASB. So what is compliance and control? Compliance and control goes to the statutes, which are 1702 and 187 of the Ohio Revised Code. These are the statutes that govern JobsOhio and nonprofits generally. Compliance is compliance with those matters that are set out in statute, and compliance is also those matters that are set out in other governing documents. So the Code of Regulations, the internal policies, perhaps contracts. For example, there is a contract with the Development Services Agency that has specific provisions. So we looked at those things. The controls side of this is the business side. What are you doing to make sure that you're getting what you pay for? Or what are you doing to make sure that the money is going where the money is supposed to go, that the authority is being exercised by the people that should have authority? What are you doing to make sure there are segregation of duties where that's necessary for the integrity of the financial system? And so those are the matters that we looked at and that you probably have had a chance to read about. What did we find? The report will speak for itself, and since none of this is really headline-making stuff, I'm not going to walk through each of the four compliance citations and four recommendations. You can all read that. At a high level, what we found is on the control side is consistent with what you might find in first year of a startup corporation. That is, they didn't always follow their own rules. They were hiring people, they were training people, and there was missing documentation. There were instances in which their normal procedures were not followed. Let me hasten to say, because Jim Boland made a point of it, some of those internal controls are not mandated by statute or accounting rules. They're simply their business practices. The point of our report is not that those represent any kind of violation of a relevant standard, but that they're business practices, and that if you're going to have a business practice to control a particular part of your operation, it only works if you actually follow the policy, you actually execute the control.